This is a ring in 2016. This is it now in 2023. How did we get there? Well, in this video, I'm going to look at the complete history of Ringworlds in Stellaris and how we got to where we are now. From one of the first megastructures in the game to one of the most overpowered origins, and then one of the worst. The Ringworld in Stellaris has gone through so many changes, making this journey incredibly interesting. So strap in and let's get into it. Before looking in depth at Stellaris' history, I think it's important to look at the sci-fi influence that the creators of Stellaris may have looked at when introducing the Ringworld to the game. The ring was first popularized and written about by Larry Niven in 1970 in his book Ringworld. This was the first book in the series of 9, with the most recent coming out in 2012. The Ringworld was a gigantic artificial ring 1 million miles wide and approximately the diameter of Earth's orbit, encircling a sun-like star. It rotated to provide artificial gravity 99.2% as strong as Earth's by a centrifuge. The ring has a habitable, flat inner surface, a breathable atmosphere, and a temperature optimal human. This series went on to inspire games such as a role-playing game called the Ringworld role-playing game in 1984. Creative, I know. Other science fiction authors devised their own variants, such as Ian M. Banks' Culture Orbitals in 1987, which were essentially miniature Ringworlds in comparison. Konami Games released 2 adventure games based on Ringworld: Ringworld Revenge of the Patriarch in 1992 and Return to Ringworld in 1994. The third game was planned, Ringworld Within Arm's Reach, but was never completed. Now we're at 2001, where one of the most famous and popular rings, or should I say halos, were introduced in the game Halo Combat Evolved. Halo went on to release many games, and even Halo Infinite very recently. These are also similar to the original, but much smaller and not encircling stars, instead orbiting them or planet. One of the most recent features of a Ringworld was in episode 5 of the Book of Boba Fett, featuring a station called Glavis that is shaped like a ring and features sunshades similar to the original Ringworld. Now you have a brief backstory and science fiction knowledge of Ringworlds, we can get into the turbulent history of Ringworlds in Stellaris. May 9th, 2016, Stellaris is released. Ringworlds were surprisingly in Stellaris on release. However, you couldn't build them, only find them. Of course, a fallen empire whose materialist would not have 1 but 3 of them. Although from what I could find, one was completely ruined, one had all segments, and the other only 1. If you were strong enough, you could invade the fallen empire and take the ring segment for yourself. In current day Stellaris, only machine fallen empires have the Ringworld, so if you don't have the Synthetic Dawn DLC, you can't get a Ringworld that way. What's this? The Sanctuary system? This was a rare system that could spawn with a Ringworld with primitives inhabiting the system. These were heavily defended, so it took some might to take over, but once you did that, you could invade the primitives and have a Ringworld for yourself. This system is still in today's game. You've completed a long and mysterious quest and found the Cybrex Alpha system. Unfortunately, it seems you were too late, as all segments of this ring were ruined and can't be inhabited. However, they did have a supply of living metals, so you've got that at least. There are also some claims of random rings found in the forum, but I couldn't validate this, and this post was after Utopia, which could have added that. But spoilers for later. How good were they on release? Were they worth hunting for in incredibly rare systems, or fighting an entire fallen empire? Well, I didn't play until 2.6ish, around the release of Federations in 2020. So if I get anything wrong, let me know in the comments and I'll update the pinned message. I'm using the power of the internet, rolling back my Stellaris version and scouting the forum. But from what I can tell, rings were very strong. They had a bunch of slots, I think the max, and 100% habitability. So this was one of the best planets you could get at the base version of this game. We're now skipping to October 27th, 2016 to the 50th dev diary, Journey Ahead. This was a look at where they stand and where they wanted to go. And it was the first mention of wanting to construct habitats and Ringworld. Interestingly, it also included food that would be shared between planets, super weapons and planet killers, a galactic community, buildable dreadnoughts and titans, and much more. It's interesting to take a look at what they wanted and where we are today. But the reactions to buildable Ringworlds was quite astounding. There was quite a few comments that really wanted Ringworlds, such as this one.
Ringworlds, please. Pretty please. Also more options with pre-FTL species. It all looks nice. I want it all.
That was all from this dev diary, but on November the 10th, 2016, in the 52nd dev diary, there were some new achievements. If you like it, you better put a ring on it. The first new achievement to do with rings, which was to have a Ringworld section as your capital. This would be added in 1.4, even before constructible rings, so you had to find the rare system or kill a fallen empire, and then move your capital to that ring. January 12th, 2017, dev diary 56. Ascension Perk. The diary teased a new mechanic, Ascension Perk, a way to customize your empire further throughout the game. There were some eagle-eyed comments noticing a certain line. Other new features such as the ability to construct new types of space structures. What could this be? A comment said,
"Brace yourselves, Ringworlds may be coming."
Ringworlds confirmed.
And of course, Paradox likes to tease. In the 58th Dev Diary, Habitats, the Dev Diary showed off a new mechanic, Habitats, which in itself is a whole other story. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see the history of these. They were compared to Ringworlds and Gaia planets as they functioned a bit like these, as they had 100% habitability for all species. And right at the end, something big, very big was teased. I wonder what it could be. February 2nd, 2017. Dev Diary 59, Megastructures, a new main feature of their new DLC, Utopia. Have you ever looked at a Fallen Empire's Ringworld and thought, I want to build one of those? Well, so have they, as this DLC adds constructible megastructures. They were, and are to this day, multi-stage construction projects that require massive investment of resource. This update added 4: the Dyson Sphere, the Sentry Array, Science Nexus, and most importantly, for this video, the Ringworld. The Ringworld needed the Circle of Life Ascension perk to be built and advanced technologies. Ringworld could only be built around planet-rich stars in your borders, and once finished, provides 4 maximum size 25 habitable planets, unchanged from what existed, but now you could build them. The Ringworld construction project would consume all planets in the system to be used as building materials, and cannot be built around black holes, pulsars, or neutron stars. Interestingly, in the current version, damaged Ringworlds could not be repaired. I wonder when that will be added. April 6, 2017, Utopia and the 1.5 Banks update was finally here, adding the long-awaited buildable Ringworld. Similar to previously mentioned, the details were largely unchanged. However, we can go in a bit more depth. As mentioned, you needed the Circle of Life Ascension perk to build a Ringworld. But how did you get this Ascension perk? Firstly, you needed 3 other Ascension perks to be selected. First, you needed Voidborn Ascension perk, you needed Mega Engineering Technology, and of course, an empty Ascension perk slot, which is the exact same as now, by the way, 8. There's so many more perks, but there's still only 8 perk slots. Please fix. The Voidborn Ascension perk that was needed to unlock the Ringworld Ascension perk needed Deep Space Installation Technology, Battleship Tech, and yes, you needed assembly yards to build battleships in this version, and of course an empty Ascension perk slot. You needed at least 2 empty perk slots to build rings, which is quite hefty, but seems worth it if you play this to the late game. But that's not all. The Ringworld construction site cost 10,000 minerals. Yes, that's right, minerals. Alloys did not exist this early, and resources were much harder to come by, so this wasn't the easiest task, as well as requiring 300 influence and 1,800 days to construct. Once done, the site had a 5 energy maintenance cost, and to upgrade it cost 20,000 minerals and 4,800 days. Now this is done, you have to complete the Ringworld sections. This will set you back another 20,000 minerals each and 3,600 days. You also could only upgrade 1 mega structure at a time, so yes, you have to wait for this 4 times over to get the 4 planets. You could of course colonize the first one when it's done, the second one when it's done, etc. In total, a fully upgraded Ringworld, including all 4 sections, would cost you 110,000 minerals and 300 influence, and it would also take you 21,000 days or 57.5 years. However, you're in luck, because Master Builders also existed, taking another Ascension perk slot, but increased build speed by 33% and decreased cost by 25%. Oh, it's not too bad. It's still quite bad, but it's not too bad. From what I can tell, there was no other mechanics to reduce the cost or increase the speed, and there was no way to build more than 1 mega structure at a time, so have fun. Were they worth it though? I'd say yes. They were max size, 100% habitability for every species, had decent resource deposits, and no blockers. It is the ultimate planet. You could build pretty much anywhere in the galaxy. A great endgame goal, and could help you take on the crisis. Alongside this, there was a minor bug fix stopping Creator Enclave spawning with broken Ringworld. Did you think I'd skip to a dev diary way into the future? Well, you're wrong. Only 3 dev diaries later, in April 27, 2017, there's more megastructure talk with ruined megastructures. They were planned for 1.5 but had to be cut due to time, but will be part of the Adams update in 1.6. Ruined megastructures would be found throughout the galaxy and could be repaired to full functionality. This is cheaper and quicker than building a brand new one and doesn't require Ascension perk, only the Mega Engineering Technology. The Cyberx and Keepers of Knowledge Ringworlds would also be able to be repaired, even for those without the Utopia expansion, which is pretty cool. The Adams update would be released on May 9, 2017. This also gave Ringworld planets unique sky backgrounds, stopped primitives on Ringworlds nuking themselves planet shape, and stopped the Scourge colonizing Ringworlds, and fixed a bug stopping the clouds move. 1.8 and the release of Synthetic Dawn is around the corner. The first dev diary shows us a new fallen machine empire, the Ancient Caretakers. The fallen empire will spawn with Ringworlds housing biological sapiens, fleeing some unknown menace. However, there may be too many Ringworlds knocking around, so if you play with this DLC active, the Fanatic Materialists will instead spawn with Gaia World. If you don't have the DLC, the Caretakers won't spawn, and the Materialists will have Ringworld. A win-win for all, I think. A neat little change that indirectly affects Ringworlds is that Master Builder's Ascension tech now grants you the Mega Engineering tech, while requiring 2 Ascension bits, Voidborn or Galactic Wonders, and 0-point power tech. It also now gives 100% Megastructure build speed rather than 33%, but no longer any cost reduction. This could help a Megastructure rush build. 1.8 is here, the features previously mentioned, as well as some bugs and small reworks such as Ringworlds no longer cost influence to colonize them if they're within your borders, and Frontier Clinics have become Gene Clinics and can now be built on Ringworld. Hey, it's been a while. We're now 12 dev diaries in the future with nothing of note affecting Ringworld. However, in this dev diary, tech progression is being slightly changed, with an addition of 2 more tech tiers, moving Ringworld from 4 to 5, making it slightly harder or longer to get the Mega Engineering in Stellaris 2.0. Yay! Dev Diary 100 is here, and you're still watching the video, so make sure to subscribe and like, it helps a ton. This diary was about Titans and Planet Destroyers, with the main question in the comments being whether they will be able to destroy Ringworld. Only one word is needed: yes, from Wizington. 2.0 is released, and all of the changes previously mentioned has made the cut, as well as some few extra notes, such as living metals now giving minus 20% Megastructure build cost instead of 30% build speed. 2.0 also introduced Edict Ambitions. These were unlocked by the Tech Ascension theory. There was only one edict that helped Megastructures, and that's Architectural Renaissance, which gives 50% Megastructure build speed, as well as 100% building build speed, turning your empire's population into Sonic. Gotta go fast! There was a few updates on 2.0, such as 2.0.2, removing the Circle of Life Ascension, and combining Ringworlds into Galactic Wonders, which overall buffed Megastructure. And then 2.0.4 hit a month later, with Master Builders now only giving 50% Megastructure build speed instead of 100. It kind of makes sense, 100% was insane. A new update and DLC are here. However, no changes were made to Ringworlds or Megastructures. However, a while later on patch 2.1.2, L-Cluster's strategic resource will no longer appear on terraformed planets or Ringworld. A new economy system is teased with the introduction of alloys, rare crystals, volatile motes, and exotic gases. These will be used to construct more advanced things in the game. The beloved tile system is being reworked. This is the first time we got to look at the current district version of planets, but how will this affect Ringworld? This was a question on the tongues of the people back in 2017. Size limits were the first question, as this is something that made Ringworlds unique in previous versions. Wizington confirms 25 size limits were removed, but wouldn't confirm the size of the Ringworlds yet.
Does this mean Ringworlds can now be a single size 100 entity, rather than for size 25 ones?
An interesting question by Tim, with a response from Wizington.
Yes, we haven't taken any decision to do so in the vanilla version. It's something I'm thinking about, but at the very least it will definitely be possible through odds.
A very interesting possible approach, but spoilers, as you may know, this never happened. But what a very different Ringworld we could have had. After 4 parts of discussing planetary rework, there hasn't been a mention of rings, except for speculation and slight confirmation comments, and this diary is no different. The diary discussed habitats, which are similar to rings, prompting question.
The Ringworld will be managed like a giant habitat.
We haven't finalized the design on how Ringworlds will work yet. I'll probably mention it in a later dev diary when it's nailed down.
Rings seem to cause an issue, or at least not be an easy solution. Let's hope they nail it. Unfortunately, no dev diaries actually covered the changes happening to Ringworld. Luckily for you, we can roll back our game to 2.2 to check it out for ourselves. We can't go back exactly to 2.2, but we can go to 2.2.7, but I'll cover any changes leading up to that. Fun fact, 2.2.7 is the highest iteration of a single main update. I'm getting distracted, now back into ring changes. To build a Ringworld, you will still need the Galactic Wonders Ascension perk, which requires 3 perks beforehand. The construction will now cost 5,000 alloys instead of 10,000 minerals, and the influence and time to build were the same at 300 influence and 1,800 days. The site still had an upkeep of 5 energy, but instead of 20,000 minerals, it would cost you 10,000 alloys with the same 4,800 upgrade time. To complete the Ringworld, it also costs 10,000 alloys, down from 20,000 minerals, the same time to build at 3,600 days for each segment. It's interesting to see the dev team valued alloys at double the price of minerals, just a small aside. However, there were some ways to reduce the speed and cost of megastructures, largely the same as previous versions, such as the Edict Ambition Architectural Renaissance gave 50% build speed, the Ascension perk Master Builders gave another 50% build speed, and what seemed to change is Living Metal Mega Construction, which also gives 50% of mega structure build speed. All of these combined will reduce the total build time from 10,200 days to 4,080 days from scratch to one habitable ring section. There's still no way to build multiple mega structures at once, including sections, so each would have to be upgraded individually, adding on to time significantly to get the 4 sections fully up and running. This also doesn't account for colony cost, time to build, and time to colonize. Yeah, I'm not calculating that. We've now finally got a ring up and running. How good is it? What does it look like? Well, here it is. Each ring is a size 50 world with 3 different types of district. City, which gives 8 housing and 2 clerk jobs, Generator giving 2 housing and 2 technician jobs, and Agricultural giving 2 housing and 2 farmer jobs. These were uncapped, so you could make a full generator ring or whatever your heart desired. This is quite different to how it is now. There are also no blockers on the Ringworld. Also, building slots were linked to the amount of pops, so spamming alloys, which was only produced via the building, was not ideal for Ring. Looking back, people saw this as a major buff to Ringworld, using them to support their large empires with energy or food. But oh boy, this is not even the Ring's final form. The only change in the 2.2.x was that they improved AI budgeting for megastructures, which probably means you'll see AIs build Ringworlds a little bit more often. Changes to megastructures are coming. They've changed Galactic Wonders, so it only unlocks the most powerful megastructures, but it turns out Ringworlds are one of them. So you'll still need this Ascension perk to unlock them, and then you have to research it. A new dev diary and mega engineering is still a rare tech, but the more habitats and citadels you build means the tech has an increased chance of showing up. This is a cool change that makes it seem like your empire is progressing to the ultimate buildings you could conceive. Master Builders is also getting a change. It no longer unlocks mega engineering or adds size to habitats, but it keeps the 50% build speed and gives +1 mega structure build capacity. This is a great change, especially for rings, as it means you can upgrade multiple sections at once. This was the first time a modifier was added to mega structure build capacity. Finally, the way rings functioned weren't to the dev team's liking, so they're making some changes. Rather than the 3 districts, there'll be 4, and rather than size 50, it will be 5. These districts are insane. We have city, consumer goods, technology, and food. The food district tease gives 20 housing, 20 farmer jobs, and 5% food from farmers. Let's see if this goes through. And here is the patch 2.3. It wasn't included in the dev diaries, but Galactic Wonders now requires having repaired or fully upgraded any megastructure, locking Ringworlds behind this big task. That doesn't seem too good. However, not that it matters, as it's a late game perk, but in theory you can take it as the first option. Now let's look at these districts on the Ringworld. Each district takes 600 days to build, with 1,800 mineral costs and a 10 energy upkeep. The city district gives 70 housing, 1 enforcer job, and 10 clerk jobs. Also a change to the dev diary, the consumer good district is now a commercial segment. An additional cost of 90 rare crystals and 2 crystal upkeep gets you 20 housing, 5 merchant jobs, 5 artisan jobs, and 10 clerks. My personal favorite, the research segment. With an additional 90 exotic gas build costs and 2 upkeep gets you 20 housing and 20 research jobs. Very nice. Finally, the agricultural segment, which has an additional 90 moats and 2 upkeep with 20 housing and 20 farmer jobs. The percentage increase has unfortunately been removed and rare resources added. Each district cost an upkeep compared to the dev diary. However, a new feature was added to the game, its designation, which of course the Ringworld has. These can give more pop growth and happiness, resources from jobs, more science output, farmer output, and trade value, depending which designation you pick. That's where the percentage from the district went to. Hive minds obviously can't trade, so instead of the commercial district, they get a generator district, giving them 20 housing and 30 tech drone jobs. The next big update is giving origins, which I'm surprised they were added this late into development, as I can't remember a time before them. They will be the backstory of your empire, only allowing for one to be picked at a time. The origin Shattered Ring was included in the initial release of Origins, with the empire living on the only intact section of ancient megastructure. It's also possible to repair most of the other sections, and this origin came as part of the Federation DLC. A Q&A was done for each section of the up-and-coming 2.0 update and Federation's release. I'll be focused on the Origins Q&A as it's the most relevant to Ring. Firstly, they were asked what origin outside of Doomsday was the weakest, with them answering Shattered Ring and Life Seeded. We'll have to see if that's the case. Their main concern was how rings would get minerals, but this was just part of the fun of the origin. The patch notes are here Here, Master Builder's Ascension perk no longer requires Voidborn or Galactic Wonders, and now only requires Mega Engineering. Hive Minds now get maintenance drones for their Ringworld sections, and we can now cover the origin. You start with an agricultural segment, producing a healthy amount of food at the start of the game. Maintain this district, the ring has an arcane generator, producing 10 energy a month, 2 moats, and 5 amenities. There are also 3 decrepit tunnel blockers to clear for 500 energy. These give 400 minerals each, then 100 rare resources, depending on the one you select. This gives you conveniently enough rare resources to build one of each district. When you build the district, the arcane generator will start producing the rare resources. This is to only support one of these districts, but helps a ton early game until you can research and start building the rare resources yourself. This is the start of how strong this origin can be. With essentially a free research segment giving 20 housing and research jobs, you could produce a base total of 240 research per district before any buffs to research production. This here was the start of the most OP origins and allowed you to tech rush almost instantly with little to no setup. Don't believe me? Well, A-Spec released a video on how strong it was days after this update, with all the comments backing this up. I wonder how they'll make this origin more manageable and in line with other origins. 2.7.2 patches here. Nothing major happened, but this was when I started playing the game. I remember my time playing with friends, how insanely OP the Ring origin was. Me and my friends limited each other to using it only in one game, just so we could try it, and then never again. It was a great origin to become the strongest possible empire, but honestly, after a while, it was just quite boring due to how easy it was. Oh no, planets are going through another change. The addition of industrial districts are coming, as well as city districts providing a building slot instead of it linked to the planet. This is huge for advanced worlds such as Ringworlds, as they will just start with all building slots unlocked. Oh no, a whole dev diary on balance. There will be a reduction in pops galaxy-wide, and hence a rebalance to jobs and the amount of things they give you. In our case, Ringworlds have been bumped to 10 segments from 5, and jobs per segments have been roughly halved alongside housing. The Shattered Ring origin also shows a warning for lithoids, as acquiring minerals is a challenge. The origin also applies the Ringworld habitability preference to your pops, stopping them to settle anywhere but there. It's actually quite a big nerf, as you're all limited to just your ring, which is only one planet. Plotting blockers have also been adjusted, but not shown, so we'll have to wait until the patch. And the Dick update is here, and boy were they towards Ringworlds, especially the origin, although it was kind of deserved. As well as the previous nerfs and changes mentioned, the Shattered Ring also removes nearby habitable planets, which is a huge nerf as planets are crucial in Stellaris. The blockers previously existing still existed, but 2 more have been added. Ancient Rubble costing 250 energy to clear, which will give you 5 housing, 1 max district, 2 artisan jobs, and 3 meticulous jobs, and the creatively named Ancient Rubble costing the same amount of energy and giving 5 housing and 1 district when cleared. The commercial segment now only gives clerks and merchants rather than consumer goods, but we now also have another district, the industrial segment, giving 10 housing, 5 artisan jobs, and 6 meticulous jobs, allowing rings to be super flexible in what they could be specialized in. These also take modes for upkeep, and the new origin now starts with 1 build. The bureaucratic center designation was also added to Ringworld. This increased the admin cap produced by 2 and reduced the upkeep of these jobs by 10%. It also decreased FX shift chance of pops on this planet. Oh, and also the Ambition Architectural Renaissance now also gives a megastructure build capacity +1, meaning you can have up to 3 megastructures on the go if you combined it with the Master Builder's Ascension perk. A small update, but due to pop growth changes, advanced worlds were hard to populate, so this number was said to be adjusted, making late game rings easier to populate. Balance and the Shattered Ring were never really talked about in the same sentence, but the newly introduced Custodian initiative will be looking at revamping old DLC, improving quality of life and balancing, while the other section of the dev team worked on new features. According to the devs, the main issue with the game balance was research booming, where players could tech rush and could completely outpace any other empire. This mainly happened with origins that give research district. The plan was to make the Shattered Ring more shattered, allowing you to build it up to its former glory, rather than just starting with it fully kitted out. I like the idea, hopefully it's implemented well and doesn't make it one of the worst origins. A great change is on its way. Selectable tradition. Now you can really customize your empire to your liking. But relating to rings, the newly added mercantile will allow commercial zones and districts to provide a merchant job, giving it a small buff. No, look how they massacred my boy. The origin has been a topic the devs have discussed in depth within their team. and a change is finally here. This is essentially a different planet, so strap in. There are now 5 districts with a max of 25 once the block is cleared. We have city, industrial, trade, or energy if you're a gestalt, agricultural, and mining. The mining isn't actually mining. Instead, it's essentially scrapping the ring itself, providing minerals and alloys. Fear not, you can repair the shattered ring, but you will need to clear all blockers, have 10,000 alloys, and the mega engineering tech. This is all to get the districts that existed before, and any existing districts you had in the shattered ring will be transferred in a ratio of 5:1 when upgrading. The mining district will cease to exist, but you'll get the research segments back. So I see that as an absolute win. But fear not, the mega structures still exist. This is just for the origin. I like the idea, but it turned out it was really weak. The new update is here, alongside the aquatic species pack. If you think they're making Shattered Ring better, you're wrong. The only change is that the AI is now better at budgeting to repair the Shattered Ring. Planetary Ascensions are coming. These make your planet designations more effective, meaning you can make your ring worlds even more efficient and strong. Although they're not ring worlds, this was the introduction of orbital rings. I thought I'd give it a quick shout out, but we're not covering them in this video. A small but nice change, ring worlds can now use factory or forge designations, pushing you to more alloys or more consumer goods. And 3.4 is here. There are no major changes to ring or Shattered Rings, except for some resettlement changes. Ideal worlds such as ring worlds now have a 50% higher score for pops to move to them, so building up your ring world should be quicker than previously. And some changes to relics are coming. There are only proposed changes, but the only one relevant to ring worlds is the isolated contingency core. Instead of giving just 100% assembly speed passively, it will also allow an extra construction of megastructures, allowing for all segments to be upgraded at once, if you get the relic, that is. Megastructures, including rings, are getting new icons in the outliner, and 3.5 is here with all those changes, as well as making the AIs aggressively build megastructures, populating the galaxy with more glorious rings. In this dev diary, we see 3.6 beta changelog, which is subject to change, but there's a lot of juicy ring changes coming. Firstly, the fixable segments of the Shattered Ring can now be colonized on game start. This depends on your guaranteed habitable world tech. Shattered Rings also no longer count as ideal world, but have 100% base habitability. The time and cost to restore Shattered Rings were reduced by 25%. Repairing a Shattered Ring segment now qualifies you for Galactic Wonders Essential Perk, which is really nice. The colonizable Shattered Ring segments have a large number of blockers, including some that require text to clear impact habitability. This also impacts robots and any who should get more habitability. And on to general ring changes, the ring world designation now gives 10% pop growth and assembly, and the default designation gives 15. The upgraded versions of resource buffing buildings, such as alloy nanoplants or mineral purification hubs, now have more costs and upkeep on ring worlds, but in exchange provide the benefits that orbital ring building. The bay was then updated to allow ring world colony designations to provide both mechanical and organic pop assembly. The beta was a success, and all previous changes were implemented into the 3.6 pack. The origin was much better than before, but still not as OP as it was. This channel has videos covering it, with other builds being niche, but fun to play with. In the 3.7.2 update and First Contact, the only interesting change was that pre-FTL civilizations had a small chance to spawn with the Shattered Ring origin if you had the Federation DLC. And it's been 7 years since Stellaris was released, and we're giving 3.8 patch notes. Surely there's an important ring change or something game-changing. Ringworlds now use Empire colors. Yes, finally. What's this? A community stream? With who? Wow, that seems to be a recognizable fellow. In all seriousness, it's extremely cool that I'm somehow in a dev diary, so thank you for watching and for sticking around. If you want me to be involved in more Stellaris stuff and enjoy the content I make sure to subscribe. And the current update as of recording and making this video, 3.9. Trade was completely reworked in this update. Ringworld trade districts provide 2 trader jobs and 6 clerks, instead of 2 merchants and 6 clerks. This sounds bad because merchants were very good for trade builds. However, habitats, the previous king of trade builds, got heavily nerfed. This caused the Shattered Ring origin to be the go-to for trade, allowing for some insane trade values, as you can even colonize your ring segments straight away, and the habitability debuffs don't affect trade. So in the current state, the Shattered Ring is now the best origin trait. The ring world has gone through so many changes, but where it's ended up, I can't complain. It serves its purpose well, and it's not as overpowered as it once was. Something that also interests me is mercenaries and pirates, as they've always been fantasized about in sci-fi. The current state of this sort of gameplay in Stellaris can be lacking. So if you wanted to see a mod where you can properly play as a mercenary, getting paid to join wars and getting commissions on kills and destruction, well, this video right here is right up your alley, so click it now for what.